So this is part two of my series on non-duality and UFOs, and I want to talk more about non-duality and oneness. I just think people might be getting lost a little bit too much in oneness as some kind of an experience that pertains to the UFO phenomenon. It may peripherally, but in my opinion, it's not what the phenomenon is about. Any communications that um, I've heard that people have with UFO occupants seem more non-dual. So I read about someone who telepathically asked a UFO occupant, who are you? And the response was, we are you. So they didn't say we are one with you. They said we are you. There's a difference there. And someone else reported asking, again, perhaps telepathically, asking a UFO occupant whether they were good or evil. And the response received was, we are neither. They could have said, we are good. They said, we are neither. So that's not an utterance of oneness. It's a statement of non-duality. Because good and evil is a duality, and to say we are neither is a pointing to something beyond duality, which I'm calling non-duality, not two-ness, non-separation. Non-duality, as I said earlier, means not two. It doesn't mean oneness. So a bigger definition then of non-duality could be not two and not one. So in this series of videos, I'm inviting people to consider something beyond oneness. Again, because oneness implies duality, two things coming together to form one. And I'm suggesting and inviting the discernment between non-duality and oneness. Now, oneness is important just for our own well-being, our own psychological, emotional health, perhaps, to pursue oneness experiences. So if someone's doing that, by all means, do it. Or someone may have had a spontaneous mystical experience of being one with the universe, one with God, one with nature. Oneness experiences in nature, pretty common probably. But it doesn't have to be confused for an experience of non-duality. And if there is a sense of transcendence in a oneness experience, then maybe something of the non-dual will be experienced. But I'm inviting people to look at the difference then between oneness and non-duality, and I'm suggesting the UFO experience, bears on the non-dual. So if you want to pursue non-duality, I really have nothing to offer as nothing to suggest, rather, as far as what to read, who to talk to, what group to join, how to get involved. I have no suggestions, except that consider that the word non-duality, the word alone, is like a red pill, the red pill in the matrix, which allows you to takes you down the rabbit hole. So if you just take that word and run with it and be aware of it and Google it and see where it takes you. I could recommend books and people, all kinds of stuff, but I don't know you. Why would I tell you to do something that I wouldn't even do myself? It's your own journey. You got to figure it out yourself. If it interests you, it doesn't have to interest you, but I think if you're interested in the UFO phenomenon, you're going to want to know what lies beyond the dualities, beyond the duality of them and us, and beyond the duality of good and evil. And that's what I want to do in this video, again to just underscore the possibility of discerning between non-duality and oneness experiences. And then look at the word consciousness. A lot of people use the word consciousness. They talk about UFOs having having its roots in consciousness, or ultimately being a consciousness phenomenon. Well, everything's a consciousness phenomenon. I mean, there's only consciousness, and that's might sound like a throwaway statement that anyone can say, but just explore that for yourself. Everything's happening in your head. Show me something that's not consciousness. So the revelation that the UFO phenomenon is rooted is a phenomenon in consciousness needs to be compared to every other phenomenon, from having a sandwich to having a mystical experience to having a headache, whatever. Everything's a phenomenon. Everything's consciousness in a sense. If it isn't consciousness, then what is it? So, but then let's consider consciousness and then investigate it. Investigate what it is. That investigation, again, is a journey down a rabbit hole. I think the difference between a journey in consciousness and a journey to non-duality is that the journey to consciousness seems to find a bottom in that rabbit hole, and the journey to non-duality drills through that bottom to the place that has no bottom.